Today in the crypto space, we see a bit of green and red price action throughout the market. Bitcoin holding up at about 35,500 give or take, and Ethereum still right around that $1,900 level. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are really mixed. We have a few dips, Near Protocol, Neo, and a few others. While we have some good rallies to the upside, look at Solana back up 10%, Toncoin, and a few others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin. One project that has been going sideways and we could potentially be getting a bit of a bounce, and that project is called DOGECOIN. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of this market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Guys, feel free to join that Discord. The Discord's a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning materials, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the market. Obviously, today's video is all about Dogecoin. I definitely want to take a look at Doge, and I know you're probably thinking, why Doge out of all of the cryptos out there? Why Doge? And it's all about, you know, the reality of what we are in right now, with the phase that we could be in this market. You know, we saw Bitcoin run fine. Bitcoin got its moment, and it's probably still getting its moment. You know, we could get another leg up to about 40K. That's still very possible. And then we see, obviously, we're seeing altcoins run. Now we're seeing altcoins do very well. And then what's going to happen after all these the money flows or cycles, or, you know, kind of shifts to all the altcoins? Once we see that redistribution from larger caps, mid caps, low caps, micro caps, where are we going to go from then? It's very possible that we start to see a meme coin reaction, and maybe a meme coin season, maybe an opportunity to see a bit of volume into the memes, because at the end of the day, we have seen a lot of good gainers. There's a lot of traders out there with a lot of disposable income, given the fact that they made some great green price action in the last little while. So maybe we might see some of those gains, you know, taking a bit of a gamble and seeing some of those meme coins, and of course Dogecoin being the king of meme coins. And I would definitely want to take a look at Dogecoin. It's at the bottom of the range, so why not? Of course, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but before we do that, we're going to take a look at this general market. We see Bitcoin finally got a little bit of a bounce at the range lows. Guys, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart in a second, but Ethereum looking okay, still kind of holding up there in the last 7 days, 5%. A lot of the altcoins today have been kind of dipping down. We see Cardano 4%, Dogecoin a bit down today, 2%. We have Toncoin going up to higher levels, 6%. But you can see, generally speaking, it's pretty mixed, right? We get a bit of a dip, we got a bit of rallies. CRO looking pretty good, 2% for Filecoin, give or take type of thing, and that's all because of Bitcoin. If you follow what has been happening today, Bitcoin actually was testing support. Bitcoin kind of rolled over just a little bit and hit a good level of potential support. So that's the thing here, guys. Do we expect some of these altcoins maybe to follow suit, or maybe continue to the upside? And we're going to look at Bitcoin and explain exactly what phase we are in with regards to Bitcoin's dominance. Because every time Bitcoin rallies up and it kind of hesitates at its top, we definitely see altcoins run, and altcoins do very well. So this is a scenario now. Bitcoin ran up again, and it's at pretty much range highs within its consolidation. And what will happen to Bitcoin once it kind of hesitates there? What will happen to altcoins when Bitcoin hesitates there? So we'll definitely take a look at the Bitcoin chart. We have Kaspa doing pretty good, 6%. Overall doing very well, 36.9% in the last 7 days. Good stuff for Kaspa. Injective doing pretty good, 28%, and kind of holding steady there. And generally speaking, we got a few dips, a few reds throughout the market, but nothing too crazy. IMX pulling back. Thorchain, Algorand, a few dips here, and Neo coming down a little bit. Render kind of looking stagnant at about $2.35. I don't know if it's going to wake up. At the end of the day, personally speaking, I'm looking for other opportunities that haven't ran up just yet, that are still at the bottom of the range, waiting for some momentum to push to higher levels. We have TWT looking really good, guys. I think TWT right now is very matured as far as its run up. It's up 68%. A great move to the upside. I would be cycling capital into something else. We need to see the money flow into projects that haven't moved, that have moved into projects that haven't moved. And that's the way you're going to reduce your risk, that exposure, and find other opportunities with great risk to reward ratio opportunities. The market is kind of going sideways. That's the overall consensus at this point. WeMix taking a big dump. What's going on here? 20%, 18% to the downside. What a retracement. What a come back. At the end of the day, coming down to those lower levels is definitely opportunities to buy in on a fire sale, but you got to make sure those fundamentals are totally intact. Nothing bearish happening there with that such a dip, 18% to the downside. So overall, guys, this market's pretty mixed. Okay, you got to admit there's a pretty mixed market. However, there are still some projects that are running, okay? And this is, very, very absolutely normal when we see a potential altcoin season or a season where we see altcoins ready to rock. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin today gave us a bit of a scare. Of course, we came down to the range, bottom of the range within this channel, within this, little pattern that we got going on here, and it held up support very, very nicely. We saw Bitcoin get a nice bounce, and currently we're getting a bit of rejection or a bit of a resistance here at about $35,428, give or take. But the question is Bitcoin actually gonna break out? Is Bitcoin actually gonna attempt a higher high and get to those higher levels? And what does that mean for altcoins? All right, guys, let's get into this in a little bit more detail. I just want to bring to your attention that, Bitcoin, when it ran up to this level, it definitely completed a nice pattern of an Adam and Eve. And at this level, this is where we started seeing the majority of the altcoins really, really run, getting those real double-digit gains, and this is the thing here now. We saw Bitcoin run again. Do we get to this level, hesitate one more time right around this level, and then finally get another run on these altcoins, especially the ones that haven't had their moment yet? And this is the thing, guys. If the altcoin that you're holding right now is up 50, 60, 70, 100, 150%, this is the time to protect those gains, right? And look for opportunities to de-risk. Now, there's a couple options there. Number one, you can take a profit and protect your gains that way. And of course, another way is to take those profits and find opportunities that haven't really had their moment. And there are many altcoins that are still kind of hesitant, waiting to get their chance. Now, not all of them are going to get their chance, but the scenario here is that you want to have exposure to higher risk to reward opportunities. You want that reward there. Now, if a project is already up, 50, 60, 70%, 100%, how much more reward do you expect to get, right? You kind of want to anticipate that maybe the majority of the move is already done and you want to get in at a lower level. So really, this is another opportunity. This is a scenario where we could see altcoins again get another opportunity. Why? Because Bitcoin is doing well. When people take profits off of Bitcoin based on range highs, what do they do with those Bitcoin, right? Do they get into stables? Perhaps. But more importantly, they start looking for other opportunities where to deploy that capital to see more gains, because at the end of the day, traders want to see more gains. So at this level, we're seeing a bit of profit taking. We might see a little bit of a continuation to the upside. I'm interested to see what happens with Bitcoin once it reaches at about 36, 400, or if it breaks out of the previous highs. What happens if it breaks this pattern to the upside, or this bit of a channel to the upside, and maybe hit that 40K level? Remember, the Bitcoin dominance does have a bit more room to go to higher levels before it hits that major resistance. All possible, all very, very possible. This green candle right here on the 4-hour definitely got a little bit of volume. We got more than expected, more than the previous pops, right? We got a little bit of a rally up, or a little bit of a grind to the upside in this section, and you can see very low volume move. All of a sudden, we got a volume move pretty high. In fact, it's pretty much as big as the previous one. So let's see what happens here in the next little while. We could definitely get another move to the upside and continue more green portfolio movements to the upside, guys. That would be a great opportunity to see some green. Okay, so what could we expect? Now, let's look at momentum. Now, we can't negate this, okay? We can't negate this. Obviously, I've been talking about this bearish divergence way early. We've been prepared for this. I've been taking profits based on this concept. And the reality is that if we see Bitcoin hit that 40K from a bullish perspective, that's going to induce a lot of max pain. because the majority of the market right now is super bullish. And of course, we're seeing a lot of green. We're seeing a lot of good price action, and the trend is your friend. The trend right now is up to the right. Great. But the more this happens, the more people get more emotional about it, and they fear that they will not have enough exposure to make those gains. So they get heavier, they take risk, they go leverage, they get, position size increase. They get comfortable with this idea that the trend is their friend. And guess what? As soon as this happens, it could be that we hit about 40K and then all of a sudden it comes down. But what about if people start going short here really heavy? There could be a short squeeze. So this is a very emotional scenario right now. Personally speaking, this is not the time to get emotional. This is not the time to take major positions at this level. Get in with smaller position sizes, very clear risk to reward ratio opportunities with clear stop losses, because yes, we could go up. But what about if we do fulfill this bearish divergence that we've been analyzing here on the channel for the last little while? Just to recap, the daily right now is still showing us that divergence here on this top, higher highs on the price action and lower highs on the RSI. Okay, we got the EMA cross on the MACD. Let me show you what I mean here. The MACD is getting that EMA cross, and we can see that the histogram bars are definitely showing a bit of red. Now look at the last time we got it. It was very little. It could be that we get another impulsive move and stay into this zone for a little while longer and get another impulsive move from Bitcoin. It's all very possible, but statistically speaking, you're playing with fire. At this point, we're getting that bearish divergence, and it looks like we might be getting the follow through any moment now. The 4 hour is doing a very similar job. We see the price action grinding to the upside, while the momentum right now is in the chop zone. So what could happen here in the chop zone? It could be that this is going to be active support and we get another reaction to the upside, get a confirmation low on a bigger picture momentum, maybe not break above this high on the momentum on the RSI, but maybe get another overbought scenario, and then see another impulsive move where we get a class A bearish divergence, and then all of a sudden, yeah, maybe that could be the last move to the upside. But again, we don't know. Bearish divergence is still here. We're at the 1.618 extension level. We're up over 100% here on Bitcoin from its absolute bottom. This leg to the upside was around 40% to the upside. Guys, we've been doing very well for Bitcoin in the last little while. So be very careful with any risky trades at the moment. Okay, so doesn't mean that you can't get into a position. It's just you got to get in where the risk to reward ratio is absolutely healthy. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Doge. Doge is the project for today. And I know here on the 4 it doesn't look that well, right? At the end of the day, why would I be bullish? And it's very true. At the end of the day, we did very well. We got a nice impulse to the upside, a nice little retracement, another impulse. A couple of things that I want to keep in mind here. Usually it's the second impulsive move that is the biggest. We got one nice retracement, and we're waiting for the second. Now, the second one could be just right now looking for a back test on this, breakout. And I'm going to zoom out so you can see the significance of this diagonal, right? I don't trade diagonals, but right now that diagonal is a bit of a trend, and we're breaking a bit of trend at the current moment. What else do we see here? We see that the MACD 4 hour is definitely rolling over. We got an EMA cross and a red little histogram bar here on the 4 hour. So it could be possible that we are coming down. But look what happened the last time this happened. Look at this little spike to the downside. Look at this little spike to the downside. And it could be that we just get a little spike and get a quick reversal and to the upside. So this is why I'm very, very hesitant to assume that Bitcoin or Doge or any other project at this current moment is going to get a full oversold condition. We got to be very, very careful here, because we've been defying all bearish divergences for the last little while. And if you look at this high and this high, it is class A bearish divergence. But that doesn't really matter at this current moment. The FOMO, the overall hype is definitely in. So we got to understand that we got to get in and we got to get out. And we can use the lower time frames. We can use the 1 hour. You can see we're getting a bit of a back test. But the real thing that I want to show you is the daily, and even the weekly. The daily, at the end of the day, right now, it did break a bit of a trend. Okay, let's kind of look at this a bit more detail. You can see that we've been respecting this line 1 to 2 touches, 3 touches, a bit of a fake out and come back in a couple of times, and we finally kind of broke out once again. And if you've noticed, this is the best risk to reward ratio opportunity opportunity. Guys, I've been scaling into Doge all along this bottom. Now, all of a sudden, we are kind of breaking out. And it's still not bad, because if you get into a weekly scenario, the momentum looks good on the weekly. The price action looks great here on the weekly. You can look at this nice horizontal level of support. It really, big picture, really didn't do nothing. And what we really want to look out is for areas where we can potentially get rejected. And we're looking at this level, we're looking at that level, we're looking at this level. All great opportunities to expect Doge to break out, break, and as you break, you're at 50%. Right here, you're up 26%. Right here, up 60%. Right here, you're at about 100% gains. And really, we didn't even touch the previous high. This would just be a nice W formation that many altcoins have been doing already. So if you look at this, we do have a bit of a scenario here that, we might want to test liquidity at these wicks and at this top, at this bottom. You get what I mean? So this is a good area to see price movement, price reaction, and a bit of sentiment in this market. So I'm seeing some good sideways. Now, from a bearish perspective, and I know I'm showing you the weekly, it just consolidates the price action so nicely here on the weekly. And if you look at it below, you do have some volume gaps, right? Some weak spots that it could be, if we break below, you're going to want to, stop yourself out, protect those gains, or protect your initial investment. And this is where the risk to reward ratio comes in very handy. Yes, we could come down. Yes, we could get back to the bottom of the range. We touched once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, all this area. I've been kind of talking about Doge, that I feel like, fundamentally, it might be finally getting some good fundamental use case in this market. Maybe it gets listed on X. Maybe it gets, spoken about with Elon. Maybe something might happen where there might be a use case for Doge, because as a tech, it does have some good tech. The reality is it's a fork of Bitcoin. It's the truth, and with some minor modifications. So in this case, there's some possibility that it could have some use case. There might be a layer 2 put on it or something, or maybe a project could be built alongside of it. So this is all very possible. What I'm actually looking for is price action where the risk to reward ratio is healthy. So if we actually get a trade setup and we start looking at what could potentially happen, even if we got in right here, okay, we know our risk is all the way down here. Yeah, it's 36% dump. It could definitely come down to that level. Why not? Sure, let's keep that in mind. Then all of a sudden, we're looking for reward. We're looking for, okay, where can we actually take profit? Now, you're looking at here, it doesn't look good. The ratio is pretty bad. You're looking here, okay, it's not bad, still 1, but once you get to this level, it starts to improve. You're looking at about 3 to 1, and I look at this level as a potential zone 100% for us to get back to this level is going to happen one day or another. Now, from a bearish perspective, obviously we can come lower, we can invalidate, and we can break out of this, pattern and break to lower levels. This is why even this stop loss is way too wide. I would be a lot more modest and bring it up a little bit and say, look, this is a little bit better. In the sense that, it's 25%, 27, 28% risk, and your reward right now is over 3 to 1, which is very, very healthy. And still, at the end of the day, Doge really, from a big picture, didn't even break above the EMAs. Let's see what the EMAs are looking like. It just broke above the daily EMA. So this is where the magic happens. Finally, we're consolidating right underneath this 200 daily. Do we break above, get a nice bounce, and start springing to the upside? And you've seen many altcoins do this. And one of the reasons why I'm talking about Doge is because I'm seeing overall the cycle. The money is flowing from larger caps to mid caps to low caps and to meme coins eventually. And do we consider Doge a meme coin? If you do, fine, but it's still an altcoin, and it still should eventually break out bullish to the upside. Okay, so I'm getting into a little bit of a position. Actually, I have been accumulating here at the bottom of the range, and I still feel like it's still a decent. I'm thinking about taking profits around this levels as long as I see the momentum pick up and get overbought on time frames, on the 4 hour, on the daily. That's where I'm really interested in taking a bit of profits. Right now we see the daily is pretty overbought as we speak, but I still feel like we could get into more extreme conditions given the fact that a lot of these altcoins are currently doing a very similar thing, getting to extreme conditions of overbought scenarios. Okay, so keep an eye on this type of pattern throughout the market. You've seen it many times. A lot of the altcoins did produce this bullish divergence and follow through and backtest, and currently this is what we're doing. We're confirming this as a good low, a good level of lows where we can put some confidence that this could be the absolute low. And if it's not, we can put a clear stop loss to negate all risk. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't, do the channel a massive favor and slap that like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. Of course, guys, going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. And of course, that's a great time for you to make any requests for any projects you want me to cover here on the channel. So feel free to join tonight. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.